Most people think sushi is all about the fish. But if the rice is too hard, too wet, too sticky, or badly seasoned, even excellent fish will not save the dish. Today, we are looking at the ingredient that holds sushi together, literally Japanese short grain rice. First, sushi rice is not a completely separate species of rice. It usually means polished Japanese style short grain rice that has been cooked and then seasoned with rice vinegar, sugar, and salt. The uncooked grains are short, plump, and rounded. Once cooked, they become moist and cohesive. They should cling together enough to form a roll or a piece of nigiri, but each grain should still have its own shape and a little spring in the bite. The texture comes mainly from the grain's starch balance. Japanese Japonica rice contains a high proportion of amino pectin, the starch associated with stickiness. This is why long grain varieties such as basmati or jasmine are poor substitute. They cook into separate, fluffy grains rather than cohesive sushi rice. Among named Japanese varieties, three useful reference points are koshihikari, akitakomachi, and sasanishiki. You do not need a rare Japanese cultivar to make good sushi. A reputable bag labeled sushi rice, Japanese short grain, or japonica will usually work well. In Europe, you may also find European grown japonica rice, Yumenishiki Italian Seleno, and Okomesan are examples of products made for Japanese style cooking. They can be very good choice, and freshness often matters more than whether the rice was grown in Japan. Now let us cook it. Measure the rice before washing, place it in a bowl, add plenty of cold water, and gently move the grains with your fingers. Drain immediately. While the grain is hard, wash 10 to 50 seconds quickly, and then, with plenty of water, rinse and drain. Repeat this process several times until the water is much less cloudy. Do not scrub the grains aggressively. The goal is to remove loose surface, starch, and rice dust. Do not polish the rice again. Rough handling can crack the grains and create a gummy texture. After washing, drain the rice thoroughly. Excess water clinging to the grains changes the cooking ratio. So this small step matters more than many people realize. Soaking allows water to move gradually toward the center of each grain. This helps the rice cook evenly, so the outside does not become soft while the center remains firm or chalky. For koshikari or similar polished Japanese rice, start with about 20 to 30 minutes in cool or room temperature water. In a cold kitchen, you may need closer to 30 to 45 minutes. Cold water is slower but gives you a wide margin for error. Warm water speeds up absorption, but it also makes it easier to over soften the outside of the grain or create uneven dehydration. Very hot water is generally unnecessary for ordinary sushi rice preparation. If the rice is undersoaked, it may have a hard center. If it is soaked for too long, it can become heavy and overly soft. Once the soak is complete, drain the rice well before cooking. Use the water ratio recommended for your specific rice or rice cooker. A useful starting point for polished rice is roughly 1 part rice to 1 part water by volume. But the correct amount depends on the rice, the pot, the soaking time, and whether the rice has been drained thoroughly. For a saucepan, bring the rice and water to a boil. Then cover it and reduce the heat to very low. Cook until the water is absorbed, then turn off the heat and let the rice rest. Covered for about 15 minutes. Do not lift the lid repeatedly. Every opening releases steam and changes the cooking environment. For a basic sushi seasoning, combine rice vinegar with sugar and salt. The exact ratio is a matter of taste, but the seasoning should brighten the rice rather than overwhelm it. Transfer the hot rice to a wide, shallow bowl. Drizzle the seasoning over it and fold gently using a cutting motion. At the same time, allow steam to escape. This helps the rice absorb the seasoning while keeping the grain glossy rather than wet. Taste the rice after it cools slightly. Sushi rice should be seasoned enough to be interesting on its own, but subtle enough to work with fish, vegetables, egg, or tofu. Do not refrigerate sushi rice if you can avoid it. Cold temperature make cooked rice firm and dry. Keep it covered at room temperature and use it the same day or following day. Here are the most common mistakes. Using long grain rice gives you the wrong structure. Skipping the soak can leave the center undercooked. Using too much water creates heavy, mushy rice. Measuring water before properly draining the washed rice makes the ratio inconsistent. Stirring aggressively damaging the grains, and refrigerating the finished rice makes it hard and unpleasant. Remember, the variety is only one part of the result. Freshness, storage, washing, soaking, water quality, cooking, resting, and seasoning all matters. If you are buying sushi rice in Europe, start with a reputable bag labeled Japanese short grain, Japonica or sushi rice. Choose koshikari for a rich, sweet, sticky result. Akita komachi for balance and versatile. And sasanishiki for a lighter, cleaner style. Wash gently, soak in cold water for about 30 minutes. Drain well, cook without repeatedly opening the lid, and fold in the seasoning carefully. Perfect sushi rice is not wet, gluey, or dry. It is glossy, tender, lightly seasoned, and cohesive enough to hold its shape while still giving you a distinct, delicate bite.